what better time than now to have the head man over at Matchroom Boxing on this program for the very first time, in my opinion, one of, if not the best combat sports promoters today. And there he is, the one and only Eddie Hearn, kind enough to join us. Eddie, how are you?
I'm good, just realizing how big my head is.
Yes, it is quite. Did we just make it on no context Hearn right off the bat? Like in the first 5 seconds? Oh, wow. This is great. Well, it's good. It's good to have you on the show, Eddie. I really appreciate it. You've been doing amazing things, and it's great to see some fresh blood in the promotion game as well. So first, let me ask you, what did you think of Tyson's performance on Saturday?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I'd heard the stuff in the camp that he was going to try and be aggressive. He was going to come in heavy. He was going to try and go for the knockout. Basically, all the things that I would advise him against, to be honest with you, against Deontay Wilder. And I thought the tactics from Tyson, from Sugar Hill, from Andy Lee were brilliant. You know, I thought it was a great performance. He absolutely battered Deontay Wilder from pillar to post. There's a few people been saying for a while, you know, the way you fight Wilder is you back him up, you bully him. But because of his, it's not even perceived power, it is power. I think he gets the respect of people not really coming forward and putting the pressure on. Fury did it. He did it very effectively. And like I said, it was a complete one-sided battering. I mean, it wasn't close. There wasn't a round that he lost. And it was a conclusive win and a great victory for Tyson Fury.
You made some headlines before the fight saying that you had heard that the camp was in a bit of disarray. So would it be fair to say that you were not expecting this Tyson Fury? And perhaps did you just get some false info?
I didn't really say. What I said was that I'd heard things in camp that I didn't like. And what I'd heard was that Tyson Fury was going to try and put it on Deontay Wilder. He was going to try and go for the knockout. He was going to try and be aggressive. And I thought that was a terrible game plan. And it was brilliant. It was a genius game plan. And, there was other people that I know had heard the same thing from the camp that thought it was crazy as well. But it ended up, like I said, being genius. And I guess sometimes when you break fights down and you start looking at it, maybe you start thinking, that is the thing to do against Deontay Wilder. And Wilder didn't know what to do. He was, I thought Fury is amazing. I thought Wilder was really, really poor as well. I mean, he didn't look right from the first bell. Jay Diaz come out with one of the greatest excuses of all time that the outfit that he wore on the ring walk was heavy. Never heard that one before. But to be fair to Deontay, I didn't feel like he looked heavy-legged from even before that first right hand round the side of the head, Whether Fury's got this great way of kind of like mentally overwhelming you. And he almost looked like a guy, Wilder, that was done before the fight even got started. And Fury's really good at that.
Last week on the program, we had Tyson Fury on before the fight, of course, and I asked him about your comments. I couldn't even get the question out because he interrupted me. I want to play you this clip and then get your response, okay?
Go.
Here it is.
Eddie Hearn's a wanker. So, yeah, stop you right there. Don't care what he's got to say, Paul. The man's a clown. I don't care what he says, who he says. He mentions my name to keep relevant, keep his fighters relevant, which that's up to them. Let them do what they've got to do. Everyone's got to live their own life and everyone's got to work their own career.
So where's that coming from? What's the beef between you and Tyson?
I don't know. It's weird because he phones me up quite a lot and he FaceTimes me and he called me recently. Well, before this camp, I don't know, it was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. He FaceTimed me about 8 times and I was laying in bed and I thought, what is he doing? And I had to pick it up. He was texting me saying, call me ASAP. And he was just asking me to meet him up for a beer. And, I think a lot of it is play talk from Tyson Fury. He's actually blocked me on Twitter, which is disappointing. Ariel, that I met Tyson Fury in November 2018 to sign him in Monaco. And he wanted to fight really, really low-level guys. I should have signed him. Hands up, I should have signed him. And I looked at this guy in Monaco, and he made me look like an athlete. I mean, this guy was huge. He was 28 stone. I looked at him, I thought, I don't believe you're going to come back. What he has done has been incredible. Forget the Deontay Wilder victory. What he has done to even return to the professional game and to fight at that kind of level from the position that he was in his life, in his physical condition, it is truly remarkable. And, it's kind of like, I guess, a little bit of a love-hate with him. If I see him out, if I see him around, it's all good. I think that he likes our work. I like his work. But now when I look back and think, should I have signed him? We get to a stage where I'd rather have my man in a race and one man in a race, because I wouldn't feel comfortable going into this fight and this promotion with both guys. And AJ is a very good friend of mine. I've represented him from the day he turned pro. We're in this together to be undisputed. Last year was terrible and then wonderful, all wrapped into one. And now, 3 months ago, PBC and Al Heyman and America had complete control of the heavyweight division. Every belt, every champion. Now, little old us over here in the good old UK have every single belt in the heavyweight division. And it's massive for us. It's massive for our country and our sport. It's never happened before. It will never happen again. And we sit on the verge of not just one of the biggest fights in British boxing history, but one of the biggest fights of all time between these two. Two British world champions. A chance for an undisputed heavyweight world champion from Great Britain. We'll see what happens. We're ready. I believe Fury will want this fight. I guess a lot of it rests on our good old friend Deontay Wilder to see what he's going to do next.
Okay, so you covered a lot there. Let's talk about the facts as we know them. As you mentioned, Deontay Wilder has a rematch clause. He has 30 days to invoke that clause. So at the end of the day, if he says, I want to do it, really no one has a say, right? I mean, legally, he can do that. Let's just say he doesn't do it, okay? Let's say he says, I want to take some time off. I want to fight someone else. I want to build myself back up. And I heard Frank Warren on, I think, BBC Radio this morning saying, we need to ask Eddie Hearn this question. Is Anthony Joshua going to fight Pulav in June? Because if that happens, we're not going to get the Tyson Fury fight this summer. And so the question I want to ask you is Pulav versus Joshua going to happen? Or is that fight not a done deal? Is Joshua waiting to see what's going to happen with Wilder and then what Tyson's decision is going to be?
Well, I mean, firstly, there's two people that pull the strings when it comes to Tyson Fury, Bob Arum and MTK. I've spoken to both of those guys. We want the Tyson Fury fight next. AJ called me yesterday and said, how do we make this fight happen? We have a mandatory in Kubrat Pulav. The great thing about the whole situation is Bob Arum promotes both Tyson Fury and Kubrat Pulav. So there is clearly a deal to be done if, and you are quite right, if Deontay Wilder exercises this rematch clause, there's nothing we can do. That fight's happening. And we accept that. I think Fury accepts that as well. I hope he doesn't, but I'm confident he will. I mean, what else is he going to do? If he walks away from the rematch, he has to fight what? A tune-up bout? That basically says I'm a beaten individual. Anthony Joshua, when he lost to Andy Ruiz, everyone said, he shouldn't rematch Andy Ruiz. He should come back, take a bit of time, get his confidence back. Listen, from the moment that we sat in the dressing room after the fight, all we talked about was the rematch. And now we'll see the championship mindset of Deontay Wilder. So kind of it's out of our hands, but I'll make one thing clear. If there is no rematch, we want to do everything we can to make AJ against Fury next. If Wilder comes out and rematches and announces he wants a rematch, no problem. We fight Kubrat Pulav. Looks like June 20th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in front of 70,000. AJ comes home to fight in London. But for us, for AJ, the clear priority has always been undisputed. And if there's a chance to fight AJ next, we will grab it. Fury next, we will grab it with both hands.
Have you talked to Top Rank yet about, I know the fight just happened on Saturday, but have there been any talks yet about trying to ask Pulav to sit off the side?
A few texts. I spoke to MTK, who are Fury's advisors. And listen, the fight is so big. Everyone wants that fight. There's not one person that is thinking, you know what, let's not make that fight. Everybody wants to make that fight, but we are in the hands right now of Deontay. I mean, I'm expecting Wilder. I don't know about you guys. You might know more than me. Wilder hasn't said anything since the fight. He didn't attend the post-fight press conference, understandably so. The doc, he he took a beating that night, and I'm sure he was advised not to go. But we're waiting to see his reaction. You know, I expect him to come out and say, "Well done, Tyson Fury, but I'll be back and I'll be seeing you soon for number 3." But we need to know fairly soon, because our negotiation process is supposed to finish in about 9 days' time. So, and at the same time, don't you think it's kind of weak if you wait to confirm the rematch? You know, like, oh, I'm thinking about it. I mean, psychologically, that's a big, big mistake, because what's there to think of? You either want the fight and you want to reclaim your heavyweight belts, or you want to pass. If you want to pass, and let us fight for the Undisputed Championship. If Wilder is not prepared to take this rematch, we want Fury next. And I believe that will happen if he doesn't have to have number 3.
I saw some people who were critical of the fact that Anthony or yourself weren't at the fight. Like, you need to be there, sitting in the front row. You need to tell the world that this is what you want next. Did you consider that? And what do you think of that criticism?
No, listen, for me, I have a show every week, right? If I start going to shows that aren't mine, I mean, 1, I'll never be allowed back indoors again. But 2, I don't need to be screaming. Like, you can't win, can you? If I go, I'm a clout chaser.
Right.
Right? And if I don't go, oh, he stayed away. All I've done today is interviews, media interviews. Right? I can't do any more. We want the fight. AJ has never been an individual to jump up in the ring, you know, gate crash things, shout things out. He's made it very clear, not just with his words, but with the resume that he has. You know, this is a guy, and by the way, you see, you know, even Charles Martin getting a good victory on Saturday. This is the same guy who AJ fought after 16 fights, and everyone said, you know, Charles Martin, 32-0 southpaw, he's dangerous. AJ demolished him, and everyone said he's rubbish. AJ beat Dillian Whyte. He beat Dominic Brazil in his 17th fight. He unified against Klitschko in his 19th fight. He fought Takam. Then he unified against Joseph Parker in his 21st fight. Then he fought Alexander Povetkin, his mandatory challenger. Then he boxed Andy Ruiz twice. He's had 24 fights. Deontay Wilder has had how many fights? 45, 46. AJ has consistently fought top performers, and he's willing to fight absolutely anybody. He loves the Fury fight. We appreciate Fury as a quality fighter. But, you know, for the first time, AJ goes into a fight as the underdog, the betting underdog. And I love that. I love that look for his career. I love that look for him. He sparred Fury. He studied Fury. He believes he beats Tyson Fury. But we also know Fury is almost a maverick. You know, when he went to fight Klitschko, I said, no chance. When he went to fight Wilder the first time, no chance. I even believed that Wilder would win this fight. So we know Fury is an outstanding heavyweight, but no one can be called the king until these two fight. So let's find out. Let's find out.
If it was up to you, would it happen in Las Vegas or England?
If it was a choice between the two, UK all day, every day.
Did we lose him right when it got interesting there? All right, let's go back to the phones and say hello to Eddie. Eddie, you got shy on us? What happened?
No, you know what? It was someone called me, and I went to cancel the call, and I pressed accept.
Ah.
And it was about the Canelo fight, so don't worry, we can deal with that.
Okay, what is it? Tell us what happened.
No, it was Callum Smith's lawyer. Just phoning for an update. Obviously, Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders, both in the running for that fight, all calling me every day, seeing where they're up to. So I picked it up and then had to get rid of him. And then I think you had some problems your end. So apologies for that.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, you were saying Vegas or UK. I had a feeling that you kind of said if it's down to those two.
You were right. I was watching your stream. Yeah, I was watching your stream. You were right. I mean, look, every country who wants to stage major events is going to be making a play for this fight. You know, we just did the Ruiz fight in Saudi Arabia. They will want nothing more than to stage this fight. We know two Brits, UK, that is the place to do it. But we also know that, you know, of course, you know your experience in fight sports. Sometimes offers come in that are simply too big to turn down. And I think that if you asked Tyson Fury and you asked Anthony Joshua where this fight needs to take place, they would both say London. You know, they would both say England. But Tyson Fury's last 4 fights now have been in America. So, you know, he's made a name for himself there. We have to see how the pay-per-view numbers looked from the weekend. We have to see what kind of gate can be generated. And I think my problem is that sometimes I'm a little bit too honest with the fans, you know. And I get a lot of criticism and stick and say, you know, people say to me, how can you even look at Saudi Arabia or this other country? The money doesn't matter. You know, the fighters have enough money. And it's like, guys, I'm really sorry, but I live in a world that's called the real world. You know, these guys have advisors, they have managers, they have lawyers. And ultimately, this is the biggest fight that either of them can have. So in an ideal world, the fight would take place in the UK. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of people going in for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world fight.
And I appreciate that honesty. I would urge you to not change that. Quick side note. I don't know if you saw this, but Manny Pacquiao has recently signed with Paradigm Sports Management, who also manage Conor McGregor. I was wondering what you thought of that. And I understand that he's now talking to promoters about his next boxing match. I'm wondering if you've spoken to Manny as well.
Well, I've had a number of conversations with Audi. And, you know, we definitely would like to make a play for Manny Pacquiao to fight on DAZN next in Saudi Arabia. You know, we've got now a partnership with Skills Challenge Entertainment, which is our partners who we staged the Saudi fight with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua to complete a number of shows there this year. The next one is planned for early July, and Manny Pacquiao is definitely a fighter that they would love to have on board to box in Saudi Arabia. Now, one of the problems is with Manny Pacquiao is it seems that there's 162 people claiming to represent him right now, with Audi and Paradigm, you know, looking to have the only kind of official link and you know, recorded link of at least a conversation between the two of them where Manny confirms he's being represented by Audi. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm more than happy to discuss with Audi and do a deal with Audi. We've been getting on great. We've been having some really good conversations. As far as the MMA side's concerned, it's not really my business. It's not my market right now. And all I'm concerned about is trying to make a fight between Manny Pacquiao and a top welterweight out there. I mean, we have this Saturday on DAZN just a brilliant fight with Mikey Garcia against Jesse Vargas. Mikey Garcia's made it quite clear that if he comes through on Saturday night, he would like to face Manny Pacquiao next. And for me, Manny Pacquiao against Mikey Garcia is a great fight also. But Jesse Vargas has got other thoughts himself. So we're in the marketplace to try and do a Manny Pacquiao fight for sure. I don't like Manny Pacquiao against Conor McGregor, to be honest with you. I don't see the narrative and just the synergy in that fight, you know. Floyd and Conor understand it all day long. Never going to be a competitive fight, but two of the best self-promoters in sport, two guys at the absolute top of their individual game, and they gelled together so well, didn't they? You know, press conferences with 15,000 people, and you know, it was a mega event. I don't see that same synergy between Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. In fact, I think the press conferences, everything, it just wouldn't work, you know. And for me, the focus for Manny is on trying to just sign him into a fight for Matchroom and DAZN.
Okay. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I feel like I could talk to you for now. There's so much that I want to ask you, Eddie, but unfortunately we're out of time. So can I ask you 2 true or false questions before we let you go, okay? Number 1, will Antonio Brown fight in a boxing match promoted by you this year? True or false?
Well, true that I want to make it happen. I'm going to go true. I'm going to go true because I think we're going to make it happen. You know, we did KSI Logan Paul. We did massive business all around the world. This is something different. This is a crossover fight between, you know, one of the most well-known American footballers in the world and a huge YouTube star. You know, I want to try and make that fight. Yes. So you're going to see a yes from me on that.
Okay. True or false? Will Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua happen this year?
True. Because even if Wilder rematches. We want to make that fight for December. You know, my
Amazing.
only worry is how long Wilder has to sit out before he's ready to fight again. You know, we don't know about the ear injury. We heard he had a leg injury going into the fight. It looked like his mouth was pretty busted up as well. I'm sure he'll get a suspension from the Nevada Commission on time out of the ring. But for me, you know, honestly, I will do everything I can to make that fight. This is a historic moment for our country and the sport of boxing, where two British heavyweights get the chance to prove who is the king. And right now, it's between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to decide who is the best heavyweight in the world. And I'll back our man all day long.
Tremendous stuff. Eddie, I can't thank you enough. Next time, I'd love to talk to you about the art of promoting and what you've done with your career and the breath of fresh air that you've become as far as promoting is concerned. But unfortunately, we're out of time. Keep up the great work with Matchroom. Good luck with the event this weekend, and good luck trying to make that fight. Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.